Kids are often encouraged to read and write at a young age to tap into their creative side. But what you don't expect is for them to be as talented as Miss Lula Johnson here. KX News' Tyler Flipson shows us she's a lot sharper than the typical fifth grader.
Well, all the kids were reading normal books and stuff. I was looking at a dictionary.
Lula may look like a normal fifth grader, but she's breaking the all too common stereotype of modern day kids as iPad kids and has been glued to books instead since day one.
As my kids aged and got older, I always told my husband I'd rather my kids see me have a book in my hands versus my telephone. And so I didn't know how gifted she was of a writer until she came home semi-recently from school and said, "Hey, listen to this, what I wrote at school." And I kind of looked at her, I'm like, "You really wrote that?"
Lula started writing short stories and fairy tales as early as the third grade and says she taps into her creative side when writing.
What are good things to write about? Because I had this full, I was going to do a fairy tale book where, they'd be my original fairy tales, one that I wrote in third grade, and, it was about a pig that got rescued by Mr. Piggy, Mr. Prince Piggy. I was gonna write about that, but then I'm like, I have too much words. So I had to switch, and I knew that I kind of wanted to do fantasy theme, but it's so hard choosing just one topic. So that's kind of how I got my story, The Magical Door.
Lula and her mom decided she would take her story writing skills to the competitive level and enter the PBS Kids Writers Contest. And it wasn't long after she heard the great news.
And I got a phone call one day, and I wasn't able to get it right away. And I got the message, and I called back, and I was so excited to see her running out of school and shared the good news with her.
Okay, normal school day, doing math, which I hate. Yeah, the boring stuff. And then I walked out of school. My mom told me, "You won!" I won what, Mom? You won the writer contest. I'm thinking then I'm yay, I won.
Lula has always had one big inspiration and motivator in her life outside of her family, her third grade teacher, Alicia Fladlin.
Even from third grade on, she had the whole package. She had the storytelling, she had the enthusiasm, she had the handwriting and the artistry to go along with it. And so one thing I always just really tried to do is make sure that when students are telling me a story that I listen intently.
Hi, I'm the narrator. Oops, sorry. I'm breaking rule 1 in narrating, which is telling you I'm narrating. Oops, I'm doing it again. All right, let's get to the story.
Following Lula's first place story, The Magical Door, she had one thing she was most proud of out of the whole thing.
Because my brother actually complimented me for once.
In Bismarck, I'm Tyler Flipson, KX News.
Lula is as cool as a cucumber when it comes to talking about her achievement. Congratulations, Lula.